Hi, everyone. It's Wednesday evening. Thanks for joining us. It's Region Weather Meteorologist Matt Wintz for this edition of Region Weather Live. We've got lots to talk about tonight. A system that's moving in. We're going to call it the Great Swirl as it continues to swirl around literally like a toilet bowl, just kind of coming in our direction. And that's going to take up some residency over the next couple of days right over Northwest Indiana. So we'll let you know kind of what to expect from that, how things are going to go day by day through that. The weekend, things are going to turn around, and we've got a big pattern flip. We talked about this in Sunday night's Region Weather Live, so it's nothing but good news in the forecast after we get through the first couple days. So grab a chair, grab some tart cherry juice, and join us on this Wednesday evening edition of Region Weather Live. It's Wednesday evening, everybody. I hope you are enjoying your work week so far, or maybe your play week if you're on spring break. A lot of kiddos on the spring break, so that means the parents are as well. Nice to meet you. If you haven't met me yet, I'm Region Weather Meteorologist Matt Wintz. Thanks for joining us. You know what time it is, everybody. It's Wednesday night, so it's time to grab a tart cherry juice and fill up the nearest kid's cup you can find and have a sip. So cheers, everybody. This has been in the fridge for a while. Oh, it's tart. Anyway. I thought that was going to go well, but now I have this taste in my mouth. It's delicious. But anyway, if you haven't had tart cherry juice, it's definitely tart. Cassandra, hi. Don, thanks for joining us on our YouTube channel. Appreciate it. Good evening to you. Hi, Gregory. Hi, Lori. Hi, Courtney. Hi, Mark. Hope this weather straightens out. Tired of it. I know everyone is. And JK, hi, buddy. And hi, Aaron. And hi, Deshaun. Thanks for joining us here tonight. All right, got to thank our sponsors as always. Tiger Plumbing. If you ever have a plumbing need, which, let's be honest, how frequent is that? Not very frequently, right? But if you do, boy, please go to tigerplumbing.net. They've been sponsors of the show to keep it free over the last 3 months. They've just been fantastic to work with, family-owned business. So pay them a visit if you have any problems. They come out for free, which is awesome. So many plumbing companies don't do that, right? They charge you $99 just to come see what the problem is. They don't do that. They give you free estimates, and they do great work. We've had a lot of Region Weather followers that love Tiger Plumbing, and I do too. Also, Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Valparaiso. They've got new Jeeps on the lot. I know there's car shortages all over the place. Not there. They've got brand new Jeeps ready to go for the summer season. Can you imagine? No doors, top off. The top of the Jeep off. Wouldn't that be nice, right? We just need some warmer weather, and I think we'll get it. So we'll talk about that. All right, so let's get into it. Also want to mention we've got just tonight and Sunday, we're going to do our Facebook Stars contest. So if you want to throw your name in we're going to pick 3 people. We'll do it live on our Region Weather Live the following Wednesday. But we've got special edition. How about this? I feel like a salesman. Region Weather t-shirts. Here you go. All ready to go. My wife says, get these things out of the house. So I say, yes, ma'am. And we're going to get them out of the house. So if you do the stars thing on Facebook, whatever that is, pay $1, whatever amount to put your name in for I don't even know the retail value of these. I don't know, $20, something like that. If you want to put your name in for that, we'll certainly do that. Okay. All right. Let's talk weather, because that's what you came here for. So we'll get into the big swirl. This is what the swirl is. This looks so beautiful on satellite pictures to look at. The problem is it's not so beautiful when you're underneath this thing. So what is this? Well, we had the cold front go by earlier. We kind of cleared things out for a little bit, right? We got in a pretty nice day, and then we had those evening popcorn showers as expected. And that's really what we're going to fall into pattern-wise over the next 3 days as this low just sits and spins. Remember about a week ago, we were talking about this, and if this thing happens in May, it's one of those things where you have temperatures in the 80s, and then you get underneath this, and it's in the 40s in May. It's awful, right? We can still kind of stand it this time of year because we're still kind of used to the snow and the crud and just the, not great weather that comes with spring sometimes. So be thankful that this is happening now, because if we had 80-degree weather and everything was blooming and we're ready to go, and then this thing sat on us, it'd be a lot worse in May, trust me. So what happens with this? this big area. It's a cold core low, so there's very cold air aloft in this thing. It's a big area of low pressure. It takes up almost the eastern half of the country. As this thing has really cold air, and we're now getting into April, right, where we get more daytime heating, a lot more than even we had in March. When you have really cold air aloft, it creates instability when you heat up the ground. So what you're going to see on radar the next couple days is the radar is going to kind of blossom throughout the daytime hours, right? Tonight we've gone quiet. We've kind of lost all the showers that were out there. Tomorrow it's going to be really prevalent where we start. The radar is pretty quiet. We have a couple showers here and there. We get a little daytime heating, although it won't feel that warm, right? But trust me, it's enough heat. That heat will rise, and with that really cold air up above us, boom, you'll get all these clouds that develop. Clouds will thicken up, and we'll have downpours all over the place on radar. Problem is, we're getting to the point where the cold air continues to sink in with this. So we're not just going to have downpours that pop up probably, midday through, especially the evening hours, but we're going to have some snow mixed in, and we're also going to have, I would imagine, either hail or graupel, depending on how the atmospheric profile is above us. So what is graupel? A lot of people ask that. We've talked about it before on the show. It's those little Dippin' Dots, right? The little ice balls that fall, that hit the ground, and it looks like Dippin' Dots are all over the ground, if you're familiar with those things. So we'll likely have some of those. We may have some snowflakes mixed in, and we'll have rain. Can't even rule out a rumble of thunder with this, with that cold air aloft. And remember, that's all because we have such instability with how cold it is up above us in the atmosphere, right? So that's what we're going to go with. And again, it's going to bubble up like popcorn on the radar. And then after the sun goes down, we'll still have some activity around, but it'll start to fade. So we're going with mainly afternoon and evening showers and even some snow showers the next 2 days, really. In fact, we're going to turn a little bit snowier more than rain as we get on into Saturday morning, as you'll see. So let's go through time with this just to see what it looks like. I mean, it's beautiful to look at. It's literally a giant swirl. You notice this is tomorrow morning. There's not much on radar going on, but you get towards afternoon and you see, this is midday towards afternoon. You see the bubble up effect of some of the rain. There's some snow off towards the north. The wind's whipping out of the northwest. It's a pretty uncomfortable day. Our temperatures are going to be cooler tomorrow. Look at that, how it all expands, all due to daytime heating, right? You get that instability is at its greatest when you get the warmth going into the cold air, and you see the radar just lighting up like a Christmas tree. Not a washout by any means, but you'll have a downpour, maybe some hail, maybe some graupel. It'll move on out. The sun will pop out for a second, and then you'll have another one move in, right? So that's how it's going to kind of go during the daytime tomorrow. As we get into tomorrow night and Friday, it's a little bit different setup because this low comes over us, and there's going to be a lot more kind of stratiform clouds with this. So I think it's going to be cloudier Thursday night and Friday than it is tomorrow. Although most of the time it is going to be cloudy, but this thing really sets in. You notice how even we've lost that daytime heating and we're still getting some rain and snow Thursday night into Friday morning. Here's Friday. We're waking up. This low's almost right over us. It's literally centered just north on Lake Michigan. The wind should be lighter on Friday. The wind is stronger where you see all these lines close together. As this low comes over us, that's literally the place that all the wind around it is flowing into, right? So the wind's really not going to be that strong on Friday as the low comes in. But you notice what happens. We get some banding off the lake, perhaps. Just kind of a raw day on Friday with some rain, probably mixed with snow, probably mixed with some graupel as we go from there. As we get into Friday night, Saturday, that's the potential where we might have a little bit of snow around. And the reason why would be because temperatures at night are going to drop cold enough. We don't have the daytime heating anymore. And so if we see any snowflakes, which we'll likely have mixed in, we may have some minor accumulations. And that would be Friday night into Saturday morning. By Saturday midday, everything will be melted off. I mean, that's typically how it goes this time of year. And if you saw the post that we had earlier this week, we have climatologically, we have about 2% more snow to get through the season. We should, every single year by this time, we should have about 98% of our seasonal snow in. So that means there's 2% left, 2% out of the way. And let's do it on Friday night and then say goodbye to it, right? It could happen because the pattern is going to flip next week. So that's our setup the next couple of days, just kind of raw. If you have weekend plans at this point, Saturday will probably start with a little bit of snow left over, and then everything should start to clear out. Saturday is going to be kind of our transition day where it's still chilly, but we'll see improving conditions throughout the day. And Sunday looks great at this point. All right, we'll have rebounding temperatures. So if you have to make weekend plans, Sunday looks like the better day of the two, but Saturday doesn't look too bad either. Okay. All right, let's get into upper level pattern. So where do we go from here? I want to go out long range. Let's go 10 days with this if we can, and even beyond. Here's this cold core low. This is what it looks like atmospherically on a map, right? You see this blob just kind of sitting there, and it's cut off from the main flow of the jet stream just ever so slightly, and it'll kind of gain back speed to it again. But you can see as we go through time, this is over the weekend what happens. Notice how it starts to pull on out. We get a nice ridge in the central plains. That ridge is going to push in pretty quickly. So what that means for us, we'll have calming conditions Saturday night on to Sunday. Sunday looks good, as I mentioned, but we'll also see a pretty rapid switch to some warmer air around here, especially as a low pressure gets going in the plain states. That ought to turn our wind around to the south and then southwesterly, and that'll tap into some of Texas's warmth. So that looks really nice. So watch how this ridge comes in. Normally, if you looked at this, you'd say, oh, it's not going to last long. That ridge will be through, and then that cold air from Canada is going to come in. That's not the case because all the models agree there's a separate low that's going to kind of dig in down towards the western U.S., and that's good because that will delay any changes for us locally. So you see what happens here. We go from some warmer air on Sunday to staying pretty mild on Monday, and then look what happens on Tuesday. This low out west kind of digs in out there, and that really propels the warmth in the eastern half of the country. We were highlighting this Sunday night on Region Weather Live. Remember I was showing you some of the numbers. The GFS was saying 80s next week. Well, we didn't say that yet. We said, let's just hold off on this, but it does look warmer, and it does. I don't think we're going to hit 80 next week, but we're definitely going to have 70, and we're going to have multiple days of 70s around here. So that's really nice. If you can get through this weekend, or actually not even the weekend, if you can get through to Friday and even Saturday to this point, I think we're golden after this. As we go through time, this is next Wednesday. Notice the warm-up. We've got a pretty potent area of low pressure that'll be coming in the plains. We'll have to keep an eye out for this. This may be our first shot at severe weather this season. Depends on how this low develops. The models kind of develop it differently, but at this track, courtesy of the GFS, this would be a pretty strong cold front that comes in sometime Wednesday and Thursday, and that would bring us the potential for severe weather. We're due, right? It's getting into April. April's typically when our severe weather season starts to ramp up a little bit. May, we tend to get severe weather as well. And then the summer, we get some pretty decent systems too. But this is a month that we start to pay attention. And if I could tell you that we here at Region Weather are ready as ever, we certainly are. So we got your back in terms of severe weather this season. And then you can see how we kind of get some cooler air, perhaps next Thursday, Friday. Models kind of in limbo on that. And then we get into fantasy land where the models really, they change every day on it. But just for kicks, we'll go through next weekend. And you look at this nice warm up. Like we don't have any really cold air from here. A couple little lobes coming in here and there. But overall, things are starting to warm. And it does look like once we get beyond this weekend, we're really going to start to kick this pattern out where we might have some cool days here and there. But it looks like in general, the next 10 days after this weekend, so that would be 14 days out, do look pretty mild, all things considered. So that's some great news. All right, final thing we'll talk about, I want to show you the maps in terms of rainfall and what this next system looks like. Here's the snow that's pulling out of here Saturday. Sunday, we're fine. As I mentioned, we're kind of rebounding our temps. We get into nice south winds, especially Sunday afternoon. Temperatures ought to warm nicely. I think 60s on Sunday. And then you can see there's some noise on the models. There's some rain just kind of chunking here. There's some rain and snow off towards the north. They don't have a good solution on when it's going to rain next week, outside of the latter half of the week when that low pressure arrives. But there's going to be some kind of warm front that's trying to work through here Monday, so can't rule out some stray showers. And again, that could change. Models could latch on to maybe some thunderstorms in the solutions over the coming days. But bottom line, it's going to turn kind of unsettled starting Monday where we have a chance of rain. Tuesday, probably a better chance of rain. And then you notice how Wednesday, it's just kind of messy, warm fronts to our north. No real guaranteed rain Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but there's certainly a chance. And then we get going with this front. Here's the front. This is where the models have, I think, a better handle on it. And this would be Wednesday into Thursday. We'll have to watch the timing of this. But again, this is our severe weather threat, at least at an early stage looking at it, Wednesday or Thursday next week. Remember, we're going to be warm out ahead of it for a change. And look at this. This is the Euro solution. Snow wrapping back into Nebraska. Cold air funneling into Oklahoma, where it will be colder than it is here. That tells you we may have some kind of line. As it looks right now, this would probably be a damaging wind threat, but it's too early to tell. We might have some shear with that as well. So again, that's going to be on my radar. We night Region Weather Live to talk it through, even next Wednesday to that point. But we've got some time to watch that, but just plant your seed for that time right now in your brain. We may have some active weather next Wednesday, Thursday, and then Yeah, we turn a little colder behind it, but it doesn't look to last that long. So it should be out of here pretty quickly. Okay. All right. That's what we're dealing with. We got the big swirl the next 2 days. And then we're talking warm up next week. And that starts on Sunday. Should be pretty nice. So we'll answer your question as always. You guys always ask great questions. I'm already seeing a good one. Where did it go? I lost it. There it is. Gabrina asks, can we order our grapple cookies or can I order our grapple cookies and cream flavor? Wouldn't that be something if somehow we could, I mean, I don't want to, get into this, but if we could inject something into the atmosphere that made flavors of like rain, like if we can make milkshake rain, I don't know, that'd be great. Yeah, Travis Masters weekend for sure. Boy, they're getting pummeled in Georgia tonight. This is day 2 down there. That's my old DMA. I worked in Columbus, Georgia, that market for 3 years at the NBC station. And that's my old DMA. They had a big tornado on the ground today. I was following it at work. And boy, they just got hit hard in Georgia. And then they had all this flooding rain today. And guys, the lightning in these storms, holy moly, they just had prolific lightning. Charleston, South Carolina is getting it right now. They got hit pretty hard down there. It's tough for us to imagine that kind of weather just because we've been stuck, in winter so long. We can't imagine the humidity and what that's like. But, that gets pretty scary when you have that thick humidity and big storms rolling in. I like it as a meteorologist, but, there's also that scare factor as well, where it's like, I don't know how this is going to pan out today when you have some dangerous weather. Tony's moving to Florida in 2 weeks. Oh, Tony, you're absolutely welcome for the information, but man, buddy, don't leave us. That's really smart to move to Florida, though. Have a safe move, Tony. I appreciate your kind words, buddy, for sure. Susan, I don't think so in terms of accumulation. I don't see it. We may have some Friday night into Saturday morning. About the only time we can accumulate snow this time of year is at nighttime because there's too much. Even if there's clouds, there's solar radiation coming through, and that sun is strong this time of year. So I don't think we'll see anything during the day. Any of these days, I don't think we're going to see much snow. We might have a quick coating of some of the grapple, those little Dippin' Dots, right? But it would be, in my mind, it would be Friday night and a Saturday morning if we had any. We could see a coating. We'll see how it goes. Darren's ready for lawnmowers. You got that right, buddy. I got mine cleaned out, ready to go. I mean, it just got moved out. I took the junk off of it. So, and a little bit of grass that was on. Maxwell, yeah, when Maxwell's talking about this negative trough, I can go back to it real quick. It's certainly something to watch. Maxwell, the only thing is I want to see how the models handle it. Yeah, it looks bad now, but the models can always change on this. And so what he means by negative trough, when you look and you see cold air wrapping, and I think you can see my mouse cursor, you see cold air wrapping like this. Everything's kind of tilted back like this with a storm system. That's called a negatively tilted system or low pressure or a trough, right? That's the colder air coming in. And when that cold air kind of wraps into the system, if that makes sense, that's when you can get some of your more dynamic storms. And you often get severe weather on the leading edge. To me, just looking at this model run of the Euro, it looks like they would have tornadoes with this. You could see kind of the lines to the precip there down in Mississippi and Tennessee. For us, it's kind of a big question mark right now. Let me switch over briefly. I'll show you what the GFS says for the exact same time. It's a little bit different look to it. So this is the GFS. You can see how it's quicker. It has a system through by Wednesday night and Thursday. It still has kind of that negative look to it. It's not quite as sharp, but this is a really pronounced storm system next week. And again, this is Wednesday, Thursday, where you have cold air digging into it. You've got warm, humid air out ahead of it. So, this could be a much bigger system for much of the central half of the country in terms of severe weather next week. But this is definitely one we're going to watch. A lot of people ask, is this going to change? Do models change a lot? Is this going to completely go away? And it won't. Models are really good nowadays at handling larger scale systems like this. The exact details on how it plays out are still kind of remain to be seen. The timing may fluctuate a little bit. But I can almost guarantee you there's going to be some kind of big storm system that looks very similar to this next week because the models are now that reliable. So that's some good news that we can see this far out in advance. But in terms of calling anything as a meteorologist saying, we're going to have severe weather next Wednesday night, it's too early to call because this stuff can change in terms of strength, path of the low, dynamics coming into it. There's a lot that can still change, but there's definitely going to be some kind of big storm system next week. Especially Wednesday, Thursday. It'll likely kick off severe weather somewhere. We can say that. Sin, that's awesome. Oh my goodness, first started watching me when I was in Georgia. That's crazy. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I remember that when I started working there. I had started the region weather page, and it was, I mean, we did posts, right? And I was allowed to use some of the stuff from the system. I'm not allowed at work now to use that system. We keep these things separate, right? So all these graphics are handmade. I have subscriptions to make this stuff. So I promise it's not free. So I appreciate the stars and everything you send. It keeps it free, which I just love you guys for that. But that's really interesting, Sen. That was years ago. I mean, we're talking. I've been at WKYC in Cleveland for 5 years now, and I was in Georgia for 3. So we're talking it's probably 7 years ago since I started doing some of the region weather posts and live coverage during severe weather. We used to use Periscope at the time. If you guys remember that, I think it's still around. I don't use it anymore, but certainly appreciate that. Elijah said, "Is that your Zoom suit?" Be honest, Matt, you're in pajama pants. I'm not, Elijah. Check it out. I'm wearing dress pants right now. Isn't that great? I just got home from work. That's why I'm about to change into my pajamas. And I told you earlier, I've got my tart cherry juice ready to go. I like this kind. They don't sponsor the show, so I'm not going to give them much time. But boy, this stuff is good. And if you've got bones aching, I had a nice, I'm a runner, and I had a nice interval workout tonight. And boy, I swear by this stuff. It's great. It really is. Maxwell likes using big meteorology words. I know you do. You're a good weather junkie, just like me, buddy. I appreciate that. Mary, that's a good question. The only model that goes out that far is the GFS for Easter Sunday she's asking about. So we can look at it. So we'll have this system Wednesday, Thursday, right? That brings in colder air. The big question is how long does the cold air last? But you can see next weekend, this is what the GFS says for Easter Sunday. It has us dry right now, but it's too early to tell. It is. Something could evolve here. This is going to be totally off tomorrow. So it's really just too early to tell for that. The one thing I could probably tell you with some sort of accuracy is that we're not going to be, it doesn't look like it's going to be a really warm Easter Sunday, but it doesn't look like it's going to be a really cold Easter Sunday. It'll probably be somewhere in the middle, whether that be 50s for highs or 60s for highs. I think that'd be a pretty accurate guesstimate because that cold air will be gone. We'll have like kind of a rebounding air mass, and it just depends on how quickly it rebounds for sure. So I hope that helps, Mary, for sure. All right, guys, I don't see anything else. So I appreciate you joining me as always. Again, the big swirl's coming the next 2 days. So mainly afternoon and evening tomorrow in terms of the pop-up. The radar is just going to blossom tomorrow with downpours. We'll have maybe some small hail. Wouldn't rule out a rumble of thunder or two with the dynamics. And then we'll start to mix in some snowflakes on Friday with it. Doesn't look to be a big deal. Mainly rain, mainly grapple. Just kind of messy and kind of wintry the next 2 days. Saturday morning might have a little coating of snow, and then we start the warm up, and we're talking 70s next week for multiple days. And then we'll keep our eye on that severe weather chance Tuesday night. As right now, it looks like not Tuesday night, Wednesday into Thursday, sometime Wednesday, Thursday. Okay. All right. Thanks for joining us tonight, guys. Get some sleep. This stuff helps. And if you don't get sleep, then don't blame it on not drinking cherry juice or whatever this stuff is. Oh, it's so tart. All right. Bye, guys.